button.
I clicked the button.
Click it, Daddy.
Don't tell me that. Don't.
Click me,
No.
Daddy.
No. Okay. Episode's over.
Welcome, everyone. Good morning, whatever the hell our intro is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is you're tuning in. Welcome to TicketPrice, the only show on the internet that'll click you, Daddy.
Like that.
New tagline.
The daddy clickers. What? I don't like that either. That's worse than. I am not clicking any daddies. I don't. What the shit?
No. What we do is we ask the only question that matters. Are these movies worth the ticket price? In other words, are they worth your time and money and clicks, Daddy? With you as always, host and voice of the show, my name is Jake. With me as always, co-host extraordinaire and the only man who won't give Daddy his clicks, Tevis at Master Control. Tevis, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm all out of clicks. Nope.
I have none to give.
I'm clicked out.
Oh my God. Now, this episode will just kind of be inserted into the rotation in some regard because it doesn't have an episode number and it screwed my notes just all up and I hate it.
This is a special episode.
Special episode. We promised it. It took us longer to get to than we had hoped. There were many scheduling conflicts. I still kind of blame Sarah, even though she's not involved in this episode.
Oh, that's funny because I blamed her too.
Perfect. Damn it, Sarah. New t-shirt coming soon. Check the merch store. Damn it, Sarah. No, we promised it. We finally got to it. We are looking at 2024 Nosferatu.
Hell yeah, we are.
Now, obviously, this is based on the classic 1922 black and white Nosferatu, which was blatantly ripping off Bram Stoker's Dracula. So much so, the Dracula people sued the shit out of Nosferatu, the original. So much so that all the copies, or I should say, almost all the copies had to be destroyed. A few survived. And those clips you see of, like, you know, the coffin or the door opening and he's there, you know, the classic scenes. The only reason we have those is because of those few copies that avoided the incinerator. The Nosferatu was very, very close to being a lost film.
I had no idea that this was a blatant ripoff.
Until you
watch the movie.
Until you watch it or read about it or do anything and you go, oh my God, how did they think they were getting away with this?
They changed the names.
It's German, not English.
Yeah, no, I did. I'm about halfway through this and I'm like, what the shit? I mean, I knew of the movie Nosferatu.
Everyone does, yeah.
Yeah. And I knew the character and I just assumed he was another vampire count. Like,
yes,
you know, I didn't realize that it's basically.
It is beat for beat.
Yes, it is.
So that actually brings us to the next point. Written. So there are 3 names. However, there is no red flag present in these 3 names. And I'm going to break it down. The movie credits its writers as Robert Eggers, Heinrich Galeen, and Bram Stoker. Now, obviously, Bram Stoker is given credit because he wrote Dracula. And again, the Nosferatu tale is literally his work. Heinrich Galeen wrote the original 1922 screenplay.
Oh, okay.
So the 2024 Nosferatu's actual writer is Robert Eggers.
Eggers. Yeah.
Not Edgar. Yeah, Eggers.
Yeah, Eggers.
Got that broken down. Now there is a red flag. Directed by Robert Eggers.
Have you watched anything else he's done?
I have not seen The Northman. Because at first I heard it was long and boring. So I didn't watch it. Then other people whose opinions I do respect are like, no, it's really good. You got to check it out. And I know he did The fucking Lighthouse.
Yes.
And I have tried to watch The Lighthouse because everyone's like, it's so good, you got to watch it. Tevis, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this before. But if not, this may be a shock to you, and this may be a shock to our listeners. I have determined, after trying to watch The Lighthouse and being so thoroughly irritated by it, and now having watched Nosferatu, that I don't like Robert Eggers. He is the just worst. He is the epitome of indie film director. I fucking hate it. Everything he touches, I hate it. And you can just tell he's just jizzing all over his works, and I hate it. His films have more jizz on them than the jizz that was featured in The Lighthouse, which is a fairly substantial amount. All right? I hate indie anything. I don't like indie movies. I don't like indie music. I don't like indie games. I am not a overly pretentious asshole who's like, you just don't get it. Meh. I hate it. I hate it.
The only thing of his that I have watched, I have both The Lighthouse and The Northman in my list to watch.
Okay. Don't.
The other one is The Witch.
I heard good things about that too.
I didn't like that.
Is it shot like hell?
It's,
or excuse me, is it edited to hell?
It's been a while since I've watched it. I felt it was kind of boring, and
Sure.
I just couldn't get into it. So when I knew we were going to be doing this, and I found that he did Nosferatu, I was like, oh, I'm not really looking forward to this.
I'm not gonna lie. We were like, oh yeah, Nosferatu. I'm excited. And then I was doing my Tale of the Tape stuff, and I went, oh shit. Yeah. It took some wind from my sails hard.
But if you do want to watch the original 1922 Nosferatu, it is on YouTube to watch for free.
Oh, I'm definitely checking that out.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'm checking that out.
I actually watched it the other day.
I have my buddy. I've referenced him on the show a few times. He doesn't listen anymore. He never really listened to begin with. He loves Robert Eggers.
Okay.
Loves him. He's like, how can you not like it? It looks so good. And I said, it might if his editing style wasn't hard cuts and pastes. And half the shit he's cutting and pasting doesn't make any fucking sense. And there's one part that we're definitely going to talk about in particular that has his air quote handiwork. He has just smeared his handiwork. The expulsion of his handiwork all fucking over it.
Okay, I'm interested.
And it took what could be a cool moment, and it makes it so dumb. Ugh. And we're going to get there.
Okay.
But no. If I see he's attached to anything, I'm going to avoid it. Because I know it's just going to piss me off. This high school film student dropout bullshit. I hate it.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on?
I'll save it.
Okay.
I'll save it.
Starring Bill Skarsgård. I like that. Lily Rose Depp. I don't know who that is. And William Dafoe. I like that. So,
And Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah.
I think Nicholas Holt's good. I like Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult is fine.
And Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I like that too.
Yeah.
He's slightly better than fine in this particular film.
He's okay.
I haven't seen Craven. I'm not going to see Craven. I'm not going to hold Craven against him.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to watch that either.
All right. But let's be real. We're here for Bill Skarsgård. And there's something I really want to talk about, but I'm going to wait.
Okay.
Just don't let me forget all this shit we're going to talk about. Budget. made with an estimated $50 million.
Dang.
Now, this is a horror movie, so you know it at least doubled its money.
Oh, yeah.
If you make a horror movie, it's going to gross $100 million. With a worldwide gross of $178.7 million.
Nice.
So it did well. And the awards. 57 award wins, with an additional 176 nominations,
Damn.
including 4 Oscar nominations for Best Cinematography. That's bullshit. I disagree with that. Best Costume Design. I'm in. Best Makeup and Hairstyling. I'm in. And Best Production Design. I'm also in. But I'm sorry, the cinematography fucking sucks.
Oh, I don't know. We might disagree.
No. There are parts that are... Okay, wait a minute. Maybe I'm conflating cinematography with editing.
Yes.
Because this is a very good looking movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. With
I
the
just wish it weren't edited to hell so I could actually enjoy it. Robert Eggers, you piece of fucking trash. You ruin everything you touch. You can have more than one person in a camera shot, you fucking twat. You fucking fuck. You can have a scene with more than one person staring down the barrel of your fucking camera, you idiot.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
Multiple times.
There are scenes completely ruined by the fact that he can't just let 2 people have a conversation. He's got to cut to just that person, and then he cuts to just that person, and then he cuts back to just that person. This scene has as many cuts as it has sentences, and it irritates the shit out of me.
Oh, no, there's numerous shots with both Nicholas Hoult and Aaron Taylor Johnson in this scene at the same time. And in the background, you see their family. And the whole scenes with them talking with Willem Dafoe. Oh, yeah. No, you're wrong. There's tons of scenes with multiple people.
And there are tons and tons of scenes where they're excluded from being together for no reason.
I don't recall a whole bunch of those.
Well, we will get there. What is your history with Nosferatu?
I have no history with this film.
All right.
I knew of the character. Obviously, I didn't know how he came to be.
And honestly, we still don't.
No, I mean, as far as this character coming to life, like that he was ripped off of Dracula.
Yeah.
No, as far as his backstory, I don't need that.
You really don't.
No. I don't need the backstory. I don't need explanation of what harms him, what makes him bet. I don't need any of that shit. I feel like it's fine. We've had enough Dracula movies. It's like what we talk about all the time with the Batman. We don't need to see his parents get killed again.
I disagree. We do need to see the Waynes get killed again.
I don't need explanation of, this is why he does what he does.
Yeah.
The stake going through his heart will kill him. No, I don't need that.
Just do it and shut up.
Yep, just do it and shut up.
But for real, I would not be against watching the Waynes eat it again.
You just have a sick perversion. Eat the rich.
Yeah. A singular sick perversion.
You have all the sick perversions.
I have no history with this movie. Knew I wanted to watch it. Finally got around to watching it. Then I felt anger. We'll get there.
I feel like that's your go-to emotion.
How do I put
like
this?
Archie Bunker.
Just not as
racist, sexist. Anyway,
I don't like it when people sit in my chair. They throw the padding all off.
God damn, Sheldon.
No, Archie. But no, like you, I was like, man, I didn't realize at first that Nosferatu, the story, was literally, we can use the term ripoff, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like ripped off of Bram Stoker's, and looking more into that the real life story behind that's actually pretty interesting. And so no, I was excited going into it until I learned more about the director/writer, red flag, writer director, red flag, red flag. Indie film darling, red flag, red flag, red flag. Made The Lighthouse, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. But even with that dampening my exuberance, I was still excited to see this film and just really get a taste of like Nosferatu. Let's see it. Especially since I was still waiting for something to cleanse my palate from the last voyage of the Demeter, and you had better bet your ass that I'm making all the comparisons.
Me too.
You can't avoid it.
No, because
it's the same
it's
story.
Literally the exact same story.
All right. Are you ready to start?
Let's do it.
So we see a young girl praying for a celestial guardian. Her words.
Come to me.
And she gets an answer, and I put in my notes, based on his voice, that's probably not what she was hoping for.
Dude. And when he says that, my mind went directly to Du hast.
Nosferatu is German.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, no, did they actually name his country?
They did. Yeah, it was Germany.
Well, no, they're going to Germany.
Yeah.
Like
his country.
No, I'm talking about
Transylvania.
Hold on. I've got it. God damn it. Orlok. Count Orlok's country. Because they don't say Transylvania, they don't say Romania, because Romania is.
They say Transylvania.
Do they?
When they're showing the map, and it's like, oh yeah, he lives. When Canuck, he goes. Nicholas Holt's character, and I can't think of his name.
Thomas.
But yeah, he goes to.
Actually, maybe. Hold on.
Hutter.
Yeah, Thomas.
Thomas Hutter.
Hutter. Yeah.
When he goes to his boss, Canuck, and Canuck's like, well, he lives here. You have to go travel to this castle and blah blah blah. He lives just this side of Transylvania or in Transylvania or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's brought up.
Well, you see, if it's on the map, that's why I missed it. Because Eggers here was so worried about his $50 million budget. He didn't want it to be $51 million and invest in any fucking lighting. So I couldn't see anything.
I saw it. I love the lighting in this movie.
What lighting? There was no lighting. Although I did like how, so I will say, I do like how in the beginning with the young girl praying for a celestial guardian and gets answered by something that probably isn't a celestial guardian, is in black and white.
Yes.
And my first thought was, oh, are they going all black and white as an homage to the original? And I would have been cool with that. Honestly.
I may have, but some of the scenes in this, they're fucking beautiful.
Oh, there are many beautiful scenes.
And I think without the color, I don't think it would have come off as quite as well.
Yeah, but you could have, if you know you're doing black and white, you could have worked them differently and still gotten.
Yeah, that's true.
Because at that point, you're not working with color, you're working with the light gradient. And so then you would have a cascade of whites and then the different shades of gray into the black, especially like in the forest or the town. It still could have worked.
I absolutely loved the shadow of this creature in the curtains.
Which is straight out of Nosferatu,
yes.
like 22 Nosferatu, right?
This is cool as hell.
It really is. And what a perfect way to show your monster without showing your monster. Imagine if the curtains had blown back and it would have just been his face cheesing in the window like a certain other movie about Dracula in a certain spyglass.
Hi. No, not at all.
So you know what? You're right though. I may have to rescind my complaint about the cinematography Oscar nom because
Yes.
I'm not separating the cinematography from my other issues.
No, you're not.
So, but no, you are right. This movie does have a lot of really beautiful scenes. But we learn that there's very short honeymoon as Thomas takes his bride, who is the older version of the young girl praying for Celestial Guardian. And unfortunately, the honeymoon's over because Thomas has got to get to work. He's got to make that bread.
She doesn't want him to leave, though.
No, she was enjoying that honeymoon.
She's horny.
Jesus Christ.
She is.
That's
She is a horny woman. This movie is horny.
That is very true.
This movie
which is straight Robert Eggers. Egger. I can't say Eggers. I always put a D in it when I say it for some reason. Not Edgars, Eggers.
Eggers.
The lighthouse is super horny.
I think it fits with the mythos of Dracula, and
it is a fairly sexualized story.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, and it's not like there's just boobs and sex flying all over, flying at the screen. So
no, but
it does work within the plot. But no, put your pants on, woman. Take a cold shower because Thomas has got to go to work. And I put in my notes: does Thomas work for Scrooge? Does he work for Evan? And actually, when you learn what Canuck does, the answer is kinda.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Thomas is a young clerk,
Sure.
at a accounting type office. They do accounting, they do money lending, they do all of this.
Real estate.
They do real estate. It is very Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yes.
And it's also very fucking dark. Because
they're waiting for their new shipment of LED lights to come in.
Well, Scrooge won't let the workers put more coal in the furnace because coal costs money.
You don't want to put that kerosene lamp too high.
Kerosene costs money.
Costs money.
But Thomas visits his boss, Mr. Canuck, and we learn that Canuck has been in contact, sharing mailed letters back and forth with an old noble from an old isolated country, and that this man comes from a very old, almost ancient line of nobility in an isolated, faraway country. He's eccentric, but he is very wealthy and wants to come to Habsburg to buy property, and that this means a lot of money for the office. It means a lot of money for the clerk doing the legwork, and it guarantees Thomas partnership in the firm.
Yeah, it does.
This is a big, big deal. And here's the thing. Tevis, you've been confused as being a man before.
Just once.
Just once or twice.
Yeah.
But we're men. We've been newlyweds. We know the importance of being the provider for a young family.
Yeah.
So put yourself back in those shoes. You're Thomas, and you know that you have a very long, back-breaking, pain-in-the-ass amount of work to do. But the direct promise is a handsome payout for it and partnership in your company. Knowing that you have a horny new wife to get back to, and horny wives lead to children, especially in, 18 whatever, or maybe early 19.
It was 1830 something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
18 whatever. You can't turn that down, right? The job.
No.
Like, you're like, oh, no, this will make me.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, he was in the right. I mean, he's trying to do what's right.
And then his wife, don't go. I've got a bad feeling. It's 1830s. What other opportunity is he going to have?
It's 1830. What other feelings are you having? I mean, it's a shitty time.
don't go to the store. I have a bad feeling.
I get the plague. Somebody,
Or knifed or run
Yeah.
over by the carriages.
something.
Yeah. But like you got it. You got to take it.
Got to take it.
And at this point, damn it, I don't remember her name.
Who?
The horny wife.
Ellen?
Ellen.
Yes, Ellen.
She has crazy dreams,
A little bit, yeah.
but she has crazy dreams that definitely tell her that like Thomas needs to stay. Thomas doesn't. You know, they pack up their things, and because it is 1830s, you can't have a woman living home alone.
No.
She will definitely die or be arrested for something stupid.
You can't put her in her kennel. You know.
Not for as long as Thomas
Exactly,
was going to be
that's what I'm
away.
saying. He's going to be gone for a long time.
Yeah,
and
you got to make sure the papers are changed.
Yeah,
and,
doesn't want to piddle on the floor. And,
you can't leave that much food out; it will go bad.
Yes, or she'll just eat it all in one time.
You get sick
and then you get back, she's covered in her own sick, and it's a big pain in the ass.
I mean, when he goes to work, he definitely put her in the kennel.
Oh yeah,
but no, for a trip, so he takes her to his friend's house. And she will stay with, because Thomas is friends with the husband, Friedrich, and Ellen, is friends with the wife, Anna.
Yes.
And so it works.
Do you know who the wife was? Anna?
Man, I recognized her, but I don't know why.
Professor Xavier's sister. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
Yeah. It took me forever. I was like, why do
I would have never put that together.
I had to check.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know this person. I've seen her before in something, and it drove me insane.
Yeah.
But that also made me look at the list. I'm like, holy shit. Like I'm looking at the cast list of just the main cast. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll go with 6.
Sure.
5 of them have been in Marvel movies. Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård was in it?
He was in Deadpool 2. He was the one who pukes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot he was part of the team.
The X Factor.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Craven.
You know, and he's also he was Quicksilver.
He was MCU Quicksilver. Forgot about that.
And then Emma Corrin, who was Anna. She was Cassandra Nova, is what her name was.
But at a certain point, how prolific and how many Marvel movies there have been.
Oh, yeah.
In the last 10 to 12 years.
It's going to be just one whole movie is nothing but people that have been in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, at a certain point, it's, you know. And I don't. No, I would have never. I knew. I read. I'm like, man, she looks familiar.
I got you.
I figured you would. So they're staying at Friedrich's house while Thomas is away. We learned Friedrich has inherited his father's money, but also his position in the company. Because I think Friedrich does. Well, no, he's in shipping.
Yes.
He owns / oversees imports and exports, as he owns the ships that does the importing and exporting.
Yes, he does.
And you know what I like about Friedrich? He's a young guy. You can tell the way he jokes with Thomas. He's fun to be around. Like, he's not like a stick in the mud. But Thomas, even, he's like, man, you have really like done well for yourself stepping up, filling your father's shoes. And he's like, yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but you know. And he's got 2 daughters who loves dearly.
One on the way. As he tells Thomas, he's like, I look at Anna, I can't keep my hands off her, man. He's horny.
Yeah, but like in the right way.
Oh yeah. No, he loves his wife.
He's a family man who's doing what he needs to do for his family, but he's a devoted father, and he loves his wife. Yes, now, he's like, you know, she's pregnant, and she's just, you know, things aren't the way they used to be, and you learn he's got a wandering eye, you know, and then you're like, oh, fuck you. No, that's not the case. He wants his wife,
Yep.
and I respect that.
He's a good character.
Yeah, Friedrich is a good
I
character.
like him.
Is he the best character in this movie? Maybe.
No,
He's in the conversation.
maybe.
It's not Thomas. And I have nothing against Thomas, but I like Friedrich more than Thomas. But we learn this dynamic, and then we see the head clerk is naked. Mr. Canuck is nude in the middle of a very occult-esque summoning circle.
Yeah, I thought he was trying to summon Pinhead at one point.
He was trying to bring forth Mehrunes Dagon to destroy the Imperial City. There's a hot Elder Scrolls reference.
I was also wondering, like, is he leaving like little dots everywhere when he sits there naked on that floor? Because I'm sure there's not a whole lot of good toilet paper back then.
We just talked about in a top 10, we just recorded the reusable toilet handkerchiefs.
He looks like a bingo dauber.
Oh my God. Actually, I think he was actively bleeding.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was painting with his blood.
With his blood.
Yeah.
Which was difficult to tell. Because this movie is very dark.
I could see it just fine. Candlelight was amazing. Except when he turned around, the sign was just a little wonky. And I'm pretty sure I saw nuts.
Oh, no, they're definitely nuts.
Yeah.
The one part of this scene that is highlighted with light were his testicles. Thank you, Robert Eggers.
Eggers is back there with a spotlight. Make sure you get the nuts.
Just a little sack. Canuck is under some sort of... He's not under a spell, that's not the right word, but he has been overtaken.
It's almost like he's possessed. But
willingly.
Yeah.
Like he's still in control, but he serves a master.
Well, you know who he's supposed to be. From the Dracula novel.
Yes, he's goddamn
Renfield. Yeah. Who was also played by Nicholas Hoult in the movie Renfield.
Yeah. Now, I did have this question. How many Dracula-based movies is what's his face going to be in?
Nicholas Hoult?
Nicholas Hoult.
I mean, he's done Dracula and he's done Nosferatu. Those are two completely separate
totally
licenses.
Different. Okay, hear me out though. Because there's a lot of rumor in the Marvel world that they're going to do a new Blade.
Nicholas Hoult?
He's not Blade, but Nicholas Hoult needs to be in Blade.
Be Dracula.
And remember the original Blade was Snipes? There was just some generic looking white guy was the main bad guy.
Steven Dorff?
I can't remember the main bad guy's name.
Frost.
He needs to be Frost.
I'd be all right with that.
And it's just, there should not be Nicholas needs to be in every vampire movie from this point on.
They're doing a Lost Boys remake.
Boom.
There he is. You're Kiefer Sutherland's character. You're David.
I had the exact same thought. He could be the new Kiefer.
Yeah. How's the rice, Michael?
Now, God willing, no one remakes Interview with a Vampire. But if they do...
Brad Pitt's part.
God, that movie sucks.
Or he could be Kirsten Dunst's part. That doesn't matter. Kristen Dunst
is the problem with that movie.
Oh, she's so good in that movie.
Yeah, but her character is irritating as shit.
Well, yeah. She's a kid.
Yeah, but they didn't have to make her that irritating.
Yeah, but then when she dies, you don't really care.
That's true. I didn't.
For different reasons.
I felt something. It was elation. But we're not talking about that vampire movie. We're talking about this vampire movie. But yes, so Canuck is Renfield.
Yes.
And you know what? They don't go into the original point of contact between Orlok and Canuck.
Count Olaf?
No, his name is Orlok.
Count Orlok, yeah.
Yes, not Olaf.
That
was that shitty little snowman in that shitty movie I haven't seen. No, from what I hear, it's
Frozen.
Yeah, I haven't seen Frozen.
It's a fine movie. I enjoyed it.
Sure.
Frozen 2 sucks.
Undoubtedly.
Count Orlok.
Also, what a great name.
Is Count Orlok a better name than Count Dracula?
Better? No. On par? Absolutely.
I think I like it better.
Well, it has fewer syllables, so you can get to it quicker. But Dracula, Orlok.
I don't know. I think it sounds cooler.
Yeah, I don't know though. When you actually have the full accent and it's the Count Dracula, and you're like, ugh. When the old Romani, we're not supposed to say gypsy. Don't say gypsy. We're going to talk a lot about gypsies. Don't say gypsy. Romani woman is like the Count Dracula. No, I don't. I get your point though. I could see people liking Orlok better than Dracula as a name.
I'll wait, and I'll express my opinion of the whole Dracula thing later.
Which whole Dracula thing?
Yep.
Okay. But like we talked about, do we need the point of contact between Canuck and Orlok?
No.
Because, and this jumps ahead a little bit, but this movie, I mean, the movie sets it up. The film is about, I forgot her name again.
Ellen?
Ellen's connection with Orlok, with Nosferatu.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
Their
connection.
bond.
Why does Orlok want to move to Habsburg? That's where Ellen is. So now we know he's trying to get to her. We know that he's trying to get to her. Well, it just so happens that Canuck runs an agency that deals in real estate. And why did Orlok pick Canuck's office? It might have been the first one in the fucking phone book. It doesn't matter. But that's why it was picked, because that was the path of least resistance to get to Habsburg, to get to Ellen, right? Like, it all flows and makes sense in he's trying to get to her. Actually, if anything, as I now think about it, why did he pick Canuck's office? That's where Orlok's one true obstacle works.
Yes.
If Thomas had worked at any other office, that would have been the office Orlok went to.
And do you think Canuck sent Thomas to die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under direct orders.
I think so too.
And it was, promise him whatever you have to guarantee he makes the trip. Which also goes into if you're Thomas, or us, as we've already put ourselves in Thomas's shoes, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, but he's not thinking that.
No, Thomas, he dropped off his wife and his wife's kennel at his friend's house and is ready to undertake a journey. And he travels quite the way and encounters some Romani that immediately are picking his pockets. Immediately.
That lute player looks like he wants to kill him.
So he shows up into the town, hands the guy a few coins to take his horse. And the guy goes to stable his horse. And as he's walking away, the guy whistles for all of his children to come pick that guy's pockets, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's 100% what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're definitely trying.
I was like, am I misreading this? No, I'm pretty sure I'm not.
Is there like aggressively dancing around him? But yeah.
Please, sir, do you have anything?
I could not take my eyes off that lute player, though.
He wasn't thrilled to see newcomers. And Thomas is just trying to get room and board and says, I have a meeting at the castle. And that's when we learn you do not talk about the castle.
Yeah, they don't like that shit at all.
No.
The innkeeper's like, get the fuck out.
Because you remember the Nosferatu people, Heinrich Galeen wrote that the town has a working partnership with the owner of the castle.
I don't remember that.
Actually, in Last Voyage of the Demeter, they talk about it.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
that like once a generation or whatever
that's
it is,
right.
the town
will sacrifice.
offers a young woman.
That's right.
Because in Last Voyage, hers is the coffin they break open first and find her.
Yeah, that is correct. Okay.
But this town is clearly doing that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because Thomas has, while sleeping at the inn, what he believes to be an incredibly vivid dream of these Romani townspeople bringing a naked woman on horseback to a cemetery.
Yes. And then we get some steak in action.
Maybe phrasing is important when we're talking about a naked woman being offered on horseback.
Yes, but we're giving the vampire a steak, like a metal steak.
Yeah. But not like the vampire.
No, not the one, but
it's more like there was a minion and they're just taking care of it. But like the master is.
Oh, yeah. The master's still out there doing his thing.
Yeah.
I heard an interview today, actually. I was listening to an interview with Robert Eggers.
Gross.
And he was talking about why they used metal stakes instead of the wooden ones that were in every vampire movie.
Which I was like, oh, they're going metal. That's interesting. It didn't bother me.
No,
but I did think it was interesting.
But I guess in the mythos of Dracula and vampires and all this shit, they use metal with a topper, like a giant nail, so that when they drive the stake into the heart of it, it'll penetrate whatever's down below and into the ground and will keep that thing there.
They're pinning him to the grave.
Yes.
I like that.
I do too.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's never explained in the movie at all.
Doesn't need to be.
No. But when I learned that, I was like, oh man, I like that little addition.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's fun. That's a fun little fun facts. Neat trivia. They stake the vampire, or what we think is or at least a minion of some description.
It was quick too. It was like, is that what I saw? Was that an actual vampire?
And then Thomas is like, what are you doing? And then he wakes up in the inn. And he's like, that was a crazy dream, but his shoes are covered with mud.
Yes, they are.
And I went, not a dream. But he's still like, oh, crazy dreams. I'm like, motherfucker, your feet are caked in mud. You idiot.
Yeah, and then he gets up and walks outside, and there's nobody.
That town is gone.
I love it. He's like, hello? Hello?
I need my horse.
My horse.
That horse was eaten.
Yes. I don't know why that made me laugh.
So now we get to what I believe to be the most egregious signature of Robert Eggers. And this took me out. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, okay.
It took me out. We see Thomas walking down a dirt road in the middle of the forest, and it is shot beautifully.
Oh, yes, with the almost like snow coming down.
Yeah.
And oh, yeah, this is beautiful.
It looks great. And then it cuts to Thomas's point of view, and here comes a black coach pulled by horses.
Beautiful.
And then it cuts back to Thomas standing there like a dipshit in the middle of the road, looking at the horses.
Yes.
Then it cuts back, and now the horses are neighing violently as the coach continues to bear down on him. Then it cuts back to Thomas, who's now going, and then it cuts back to the horses getting closer. Then it cuts back to Thomas. And then it cuts back to the horses. Then it cuts back to Thomas. Then it cuts back to the horses. Then it cuts back to Thomas. And then it cuts to the horses. Then it cuts back to Thomas. And it cuts 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 and it's cutting and then it cuts and the stagecoach is perpendicular for no reason with no horses and the door just fucking opens and then Thomas is like, oh, that's convenient, and this is edited to hell and it looks stupid. It took a beautiful shot with a creepy thing of maybe a driverless stagecoach pulls, and it could have worked. And he indie edits it to hell and ruins all of it. Took me out.
I liked it.
You would.
And I'll tell you why. It gives it, and it wasn't cut that many times. You're over exaggerating.
What?
But It does. It cuts and the horses are coming and it cuts back to him looking and getting freaked out. And then it cuts again to the horses rearing up and it cuts back to him. He freaks out. But then the camera stays on him for a minute.
Yeah, so he can hold his hand out and scream no, like the guy who got ran over by the steamroller in Austin Powers,
Yes.
which we learned from a previous conversation is Michael
Myers.
No, it was Michael
Yeah, McDonald. No, but they have this camera shot on Thomas's face.
Yeah.
And then it does this unmotivated camera movement. And they do it a couple times in the movie. And
unmotivated is right.
Unmotivated is what I mean. The camera just cuts and it slowly pans away from him to the scenery behind him and the forest. And that's when it rests on the carriage that's parked sideways. And then that door opens.
So stupid.
It's great.
Why is the stagecoach fucking sideways?
Because
it's so stupid.
It makes you feel like, and it's like from this moment on until he leaves the castle, it's almost dreamlike. It's like he's under some spell or something. There's something off.
Agreed.
And I love it. I think it's great.
I wish it had been done better.
I loved. They do the camera movements a couple of times in this movie, but I thought it was fantastic. It made me feel like I'm like, is he actually dreaming still, or at all, or is this real? What's going on? And it continues until he leaves the castle.
See, I wasn't like, oh, what's going on? I was like, oh, this is so stupid. I hope he does get just run down by the carriage. I hope he does. Get to the side of the road, you idiot. And then when it cuts and the carriage is sideways, I hated this.
Oh, I love it.
I hated it. In no reality.
We're not in a reality right now.
Yes, we are. And it's a reality that has an undead monster.
We're in a reality that is under Nosferatu's just. I can't even think of the word. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, the stupidity of the scene has melted your brain.
We are definitely under Nosferatu's spell.
Yes.
At this point.
But from a film-making point of view, there are so many better ways to do it than this.
I think it was good.
No, it's not. I hated. Like, it literally took me out. I went, they're doing the Austin Powers thing, and I hope he dies. And then it's like, oh, now it's sideways. Why is it fucking sideways? How did it get that sideways on that narrow road, that giant stage? It's not how coaches work. Your truck wouldn't have made that turn.
You're arguing about how a stagecoach can make that turn on this road when there's a vampire in a castle.
Yes.
Up the road.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the world still has to follow a set of rules.
It does.
Not anymore.
We are in a weird headspace right now.
Oh, this movie puts you in a weird headspace.
Yes, it does.
Robert Eggers sucks. So, Thomas makes it to the castle. Now, he walks in, and as soon as he's like, hello, and he goes up the stairs, and because he sees a little bit of flickering light, and now the darkness of these scenes I like.
Oh yeah, this is great. Like when he's going up the stairs, Count Olaf Count Orlok is there, and then all of a sudden he's not there, and he's sitting down in the room way down the way. And like, holy shit, this is so cool.
See, I don't like the stagecoach doing it. I like Orlok doing it.
They're one and the same.
Orlok was the stagecoach?
Absolutely. He transforms.
What does that mean? He was the stagecoach. What are you talking about?
He can make him see whatever he wants him to see.
You are late.
What did you think about the accent?
Loved it.
The voice.
Loved it. No. Tevis. Because I was going to talk. Fuck it. We're talking about Bill Skarsgård. I loved everything about Nosferatu. And his voice, his tone, his accent, his appearance, his actual, like,
When you finally get to see him,
what he is as a monster, like, all of this works. I love Orlok.
For one, I love this whole castle scene where they keep him in either blurred out in the background, or
Yep,
even blurred out in the foreground, or he's sitting in that chair and he's got that roaring fireplace fire behind him. You kind of see him, but not detailed enough.
You see a human silhouette, more or less.
And
All
when
of
I
the staff.
I had forgotten Bill
left.
Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård was Count Orlok.
You can't see him or hear him. He's not there.
I was worried when I found out he was going to play this part, because I'm like, man, I mean, he's done Pennywise, and I don't know how well he will do with this. And then I heard the voice. I was like, oh, did they just dub another person talking? No, that interview that I listened to this morning, Eggers said that Skarsgård trained with a opera singer to get his voice that low.
That's cool.
And that's his voice. The only thing they did to it was amplified it so that it come across, because he's like, yeah, in such a wide open area, his voice was deep, but you couldn't hear it that well.
Well, that big table, that big stone.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. And the way he breathes all the time, like heavy breath. Oh, it's so good. Yeah. No, I love.
Because it's like no matter what he does, he can't get a breath.
Yeah. I'm with you. I love Count Olaf.
Orlok. Dumbass. Now, let's talk about Bill Skarsgård.
I've been impaled.
What? Oh, Frozen. Let's talk about Bill Skarsgård.
Okay.
You don't hear him.
Oh, no.
You don't see him. Nope. He's gone. Now think back to Pennywise. You don't see him. You don't hear him. He's gone. I was reading different reviews for this movie, and actually one review in particular brought this up, and I really got to thinking about it. I don't know if I'm there yet. I think he needs one or two more roles to cement it. But they compared him or said that he was the modern day Lon Chaney, Bela Lugosi, Vincent Price. Damn it, who's the one I'm forgetting?
Doug Jones?
No. Who?
Doug Jones.
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy who's played. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's played a shit ton. He was in
Boris Karloff.
That's Karloff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Doug Jones. He's a real Boris Karloff over here.
He was in Hellboy. He played the fish guy.
No one cares.
He is the top guy right now. Being covered in makeup, acting with makeup.
Oh, sure, but
disappearing in makeup.
That's not what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
You didn't hear any of the names I just.
Yeah, Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney.
Yeah.
We're not talking about makeup. We're talking about, and honestly, I think they're right. I would just like to see a couple more roles to really cement that status. Because if you had told me, could an actor in the modern era be so perfect for and work so hard at and become synonymous for the movie monsters, the big creatures, the whatever, I told you no, it's not possible. That era of Hollywood and cinema is gone.
This is Doug Jones. He's doing the exact same thing. Yeah, he is. You don't even know who Doug Jones is.
That's the point.
It's because he disappears in every fucking role.
Yeah, like his name on the marquee.
He's not the main character all the time.
Right,
Anyway.
but Boris Karloff was. Bela Lugosi was.
Was, or not anymore. What have they done lately? Give me one movie with one of them that's came out in 1999, 2020. Ain't done shit.
I think they were long dead by that point.
Oh, that's just an excuse.
But they were comparing Skarsgård to the golden age of cinema, big name creature actors, horror actors. And I can't disagree. But I'd like to see at least one or two more roles different now from Orlok and Pennywise to cement Bill Skarsgård with those names.
I agree with that.
But he's there.
Oh yeah.
As far as is he the modern day version? Absolutely. But one or two more like roles like this, he's there.
Yeah, I agree.
Like in the cemented pantheon, he's there. He's so good.
What were your thoughts on the mustache?
Loved it.
I did too.
Because one of the biggest complaints we had about the last voyage of the Demeter Dracula is that he didn't have a penis. But one of the other biggest complaints we had is that in no way, shape, or form was this thing human, ever human, or could be mistaken for human.
Right.
The mustache, was a full-bodied, good-looking mustache.
Yes, it was.
But it still being there is one of those last clinging reminders that before this pact with the devil or whatever was made, Orlok was human.
Yeah, and he was royalty. Like
he was a count.
Yeah.
Like, he was nobility. And it's just one of those last clinging vestiges of humanity he has. And it works.
Doesn't Dracula have a mustache in the book?
In the book, I think, but
I think he does.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sure it would have been one of those real thin, fashionable mustaches, not like this thick Transylvanian.
Wyatt Earp mustache.
Orlok had a Wyatt Earp mustache. Yes. Dracula, I think, has a Vince McMahon mustache.
Ooh, I don't like that.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly what you're talking about.
The pencil thin, definitely ties women to railroad tracks.
Yeah.
I also think I just said women's.
You
like
did. I overlooked it. I overlooked it.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
Because I'm that way.
You're that way, all right.
Yeah. Is there any way Vince McMahon could have made himself look creepier?
The dyed hair, the dyed mustache, the mustache in general, and the plastic surgery.
Yeah. Just
no.
Dripping with the ick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would, if he was walking down the street, you would clutch your children closer to you.
And then he got the mustache. Yeah.
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 No, the Orlok's mustache is all part of it. You can even when you fully see him and you're like, oh Jesus, monster.
Yeah.
But you can still see where he was human.
And I love that. Yeah.
And I think this movie does it really well too. At no point as Thomas, or at no point if you're looking at like what Thomas is going through, are you like, that's obviously a monster, you idiot, run away. He knows he's going to speak to a very old, eccentric member of some ancient nobility, right? And you never see enough to go, that's not a human. All the human elements are there.
Yeah.
In Last Voyage of the Demeter, like, you see later on when Thomas signs the contract written in Orlok's original language.
Oh, yes.
And Orlok tells him it's just my side of the contract written in my language for the deed. We learn later that's a lie. But then, the hand, the gnarled, old mangled hand with the fingernails gives him the bag of gold. it's still believable.
Oh, yeah.
Had the last voyage of the Demeter's Dracula done it, his big stupid bat wing would have gotten in the and his like 3 fingers or whatever the hell he had.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, this is supposed to be Dracula. Dracula is still a functioning human in some respect.
Yes.
And we see Orlok is still, in some degree, I think less of a degree than what Dracula is supposed to be, but it works for this story and this movie and the way it's done. He's still functioning enough as human.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I never like you. I was never once like, oh, God, can you not see what is right there?
Yeah.
Because he'd have been like, no, I can't. It's too fucking dark.
Like I was.
But it works.
Yeah.
And I love the way Orlok walks with that. He has one arm kind of up and twisted, and his other one is kind of hanging down at his side. And he just it's so creepy, but not overdone.
And that's the key, is that it's not overdone. Because if you go in expecting the world's oldest man and he walks like that, you'd be like, well, yeah, he's like 1,000,000 years old.
Yeah.
But then you learn he's a monster, and you're like, well, that's why he walks out. He's, this twisted undead thing. But it's not. If it were overdone, it'd be like, well, obviously it's not a human. He's still walking very painfully by the looks of it.
Oh, yeah.
But still walking as a human might, if that human were, 99 and a half years old. So it still falls within this realm that Orlok can pass as a human.
Yeah.
You know what can't pass as a human? Alopecia man-bat.
Yes. You're right.
No, I love his whole design, his demeanor, his voice, the stash. Orlok is firing on all cylinders as a movie monster.
I agree.
I'm not gonna lie. We're getting to the part where I'm like, oh shit, I don't have a lot of notes anymore because I just got to watching the movie.
I was kind of the same way. There was a moment when Thomas pulls out that bread and starts to cut it.
Oh, and he cuts his thumb.
I don't know if I was extremely hungry, but I swear to God, it took me forever to realize that was a piece of bread and not a chicken finger. I don't know why. I was just like, wait a minute, where the hell is he getting chicken fingers from?
You need to go to Wendy's?
Yeah, what the hell?
Burger King, I think, has new chicken fries. Yeah.
But then he cuts that bread and he cuts himself. And Orlok's eyes is just like, oh.
See, though, his eyes are hungry, but his voice is pissed.
Yeah. He's like, careful what you do or how you do or whatever he says. And then I think that night is when Thomas gets fed on.
Now, Thomas gets fed on, has a weird dream, wakes up the next morning, checks his chest, and he has a bite mark. Tell me if you felt the same thing. I got a little nervous when I saw the bite mark on his chest.
Why?
Because it took me to the last voyage of the Demeter.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah, no, that didn't even cross my mind.
I went, okay, it's not as bad, it's not as deep or as blatant as Demeter went, but this makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, no, I didn't have a problem with that.
Okay. You see what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we'll clarify when we get there, but I just want to plant now. When I first saw the bite mark on his chest, I got nervous.
So I really enjoyed this whole part with him in the castle. Because you get the moment where he wakes up with the bite mark, but then it goes right to them talking about the contract.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I got confused. I was like, wait a minute. Is it the same day? Or is it the next day? How long has the time been?
It could have been 3 days from then.
And I got confused, but not in a way where I was upset with the movie. because I think that's what it wanted you to feel like.
You felt like Thomas.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, for all the shit I have and will continue to give this movie, no, time is irrelevant in this place.
Yeah, 'cause I was like, wait a minute, what happened? When did he go to bed?
/ go back to bed.
Yeah.
/ versus waking up.
What is he doing? And then he even tells him, because like, I have to leave as soon as possible. You know, I think I'm becoming ill.
It is a bad omen to travel while ill.
It's so good.
You will stay another night. And I just went, oh, God.
Yeah. And
That was pretty good, by the way.
that was pretty good. You need to roll your R's a little
I
more.
can't. I've never been able to roll my R's.
Really?
I can't do it.
Okay.
I'm not Bill Skarsgård. Mom.
So then, yeah, this is when Thomas decides to go down and open the casket.
Right. I loved this too.
This,
Because he's trying to escape.
yes.
Can't escape. Breaks his way into a door that leads into like a dungeon. So obviously he went down it.
Yeah.
Like an idiot.
Well, he's not feeling well.
Yeah. But he comes across the casket and opens it.
This was terrifying.
This was, oh my heart was pounding.
Yes. He stands up out of that coffin. We got Dick.
Still a man.
I was like, okay. That's how you do it, Last Voyage of the Demeter. That is how you do it.
This is how you do it. Oh my. I will still forgive every issue, problem, and mistake The Last Voyage does if they re-release an edit where Alopecia Man-Bat flies around with just the biggest dick flapping in the air, knocks the cook out of the rowboat.
Any dick. Just something. Show him that he's a man.
That's the thing. Last Voyage of the Demeter Dracula is not a man, with or without dick. That is not and never was a human.
No.
Orlok was a human at some point.
Yeah, and he hung.
Well, he was the Count indeed.
Yeah.
He was a ladies' man in his day.
Yes, he was.
And then like the chase is on.
Yeah, and then Thomas escapes, and
Now, when you say escape, you mean he fell out a window into a raging river and is presumed dead.
yes, but he's not dead. But I'm not gonna lie. After this, from the moment he arrives at the castle until he does his Greg Louganis into the river.
Jesus. Yes.
Well, what would Brian Bortano do?
Stop.
But that whole chunk of this movie wore me the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, oh my, I gotta pause. I had to pause and go make some popcorn. Be like, Jesus Christ.
And here's the thing, you're worn out and we haven't even started cooking yet.
I know.
Because this movie is about to cook.
Yes, it is.
Now, can I go back to talking about Orlok and Bill Skarsgård?
Yes. Oh, yeah, and I have one other thing after you.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Because we've pretty much seen most of it. Let's talk about some powers.
Okay.
What could Dracula in The Last Voyage of the Demeter actually do?
Walk around and bite things.
And then he could fly.
Yeah.
He developed flight at one point. And he could look like a rolled up rug or something when everyone ran by him and they didn't see him. And that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, he didn't have.
Let's talk about Orlok, if I may.
Absolutely.
He moves about the shadows.
Yes, he does.
He can control his shadow. Even the Romani people were like, you watch out, you don't fall under his shadow. That is both figurative and quite literal.
Yes.
He controls the darkness. He can, for lack of a better term, and I know there's people out there that know more than I do that are going to scoff at this term, but if you have a better one, hit me with it. He can possess. He can entrance.
Like mind control, kind
Yes.
of. Yeah.
He can do what Dracula can do. He can, whether it's through hypnosis or some aspect of his power, he can entrance and create servants and minions and things. He's got the shadow thing going on. He feeds on the blood. He's deceptively quick. I don't think I'd try arm wrestling him because I think he'd table my ass and slam me through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can communicate telepathically. There's something else, and this is very important, that is hinted at in this in the castle.
Okay.
Which is very true to Dracula. It's actually, if you get into the mythos of like beings that get their power through pacts with the devil, like witches, like Salem witch trial, like black magic witches, Dracula / Nosferatu, whatever. They command the animal servants of the night.
The wolves.
Yeah. Because while Thomas is in the coach, and he controlled those horses.
Oh, yeah.
He being Orlok. The wolves kind of harass Thomas a little bit. Then he gets in the coach, and the wolves follow the coach. They're not chasing the horses. They're following the coach. Then when Thomas is trying to escape, who's in the castle? Pardon the pun, hounding his steps. The wolves.
Yeah.
He even opens his door. Wolf! And he's like, oh, fuck! Wolf! Shut door! Yeah. The wolves are what chase him out the window.
Yeah, that's right.
Orlok controls the beings of the night. We see it later when he controls the plague rats, which I love that twist, by the way.
I did
That's
too.
fucking amazing, and we're going to get there. Orlok is a true vampire. He has all the abilities that he is supposed to have, and he uses them right. How fucking cool is that?
And I love that they don't ever explain that he controls the wolves and the rats, and it's just known.
It's just part of it.
Yep. It's just
and I'm
known.
swearing too much because I'm so worked up by this movie. Sorry, YouTube. I'm not going to monetize this anyway, you dicks. Go ahead.
There's one moment in this movie that's stuck with me.
Was it his penis?
There's two moments in this movie that stuck with me. I had to keep rewinding it to make sure it wasn't CGI.
How much prosthetic was there? Yeah. Let's zoom in.
Is it like Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights when they had the prosthetic? A friend of mine was like, "You have to watch that movie." I'm like, "I have no desire to see that movie." I'm like, and plus, I don't want to see his dong at the end. No. They talk about it so much. There's so much buildup. You want to see it by the end. I'm like, no, not really.
Can you just watch porn?
Yeah. I'm like, no. But anyway, Dirk Diggler, get out of here.
I do not want to talk about Mark Wahlberg movies.
That one's in that.
No, it isn't.
It will be. But
you'll want to see it.
Thomas is laying on the ground in the castle, and Orlok is on top of him, sucking on his chest.
Yes.
The sound of the slurping and the gulping, and just the way, because he's like laying on top of him naked, and it's the way he's drinking, and then
the way his back arches,
and it's almost like he's humping him, but not really.
Well, there's no pelvic movement.
No, but it's just the back arches, and it goes back, and it's very disturbing.
It is, and it's done in a very intimate way, I think, to your point. Yeah.
Yes, but man, after I watched it, that image stuck with me for the whole day.
So you've talked about it, so I'm going to talk about it. When we first see the bite mark, I was concerned. I went, "Oh my god, they're going the fucking zombie route." That last voyage of the Demeter did.
Yeah.
Last voyage of the Demeter, Dracula didn't drink blood. He ate flesh and shit like a zombie.
Yeah.
And I hated it. And I saw that bite scar and I was like, ugh. Makes me think of that. Then we see the drinking. And the movie talks about it multiple times using the same phrase. The creature drinks the victim's heart blood. And at first I was like, why do they keep saying heart blood? Like, no shit. Blood, heart, it's all connected.
Yeah.
Circulatory system, numbnuts. But no, it's very specific. The heart blood. Every victim he bites, it's over the heart. I'm sure you saw this.
Yes.
Yeah. And we actually see him drink.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't eat Thomas's peck, right?
Yeah, and there's no blood everywhere. He's not slurping it up like some lapdog.
No, he punctures the meat to get to the heart, the actual heart, and is drinking the heart blood directly.
Yes.
And I went, and they saved it. I was concerned with the bite mark scar, concerned. Then they saved it.
Okay. Yeah. No, I never even thought of that last voyage of the Demeter until later.
You see the bridge, though.
I do. Yep.
I saw that bite, and I went, oh, God, please.
Nope, I do see that.
Please. All right. But Thomas falls into the river. And there's a whole bunch of shit going on. Ellen's not doing the best.
No, not at all.
As Orlok's growing, as he's getting closer to Hamburg, his power to connect with Ellen is increasing.
So this moment when Orlok is on the boat.
You mean the Demeter?
The Demeter.
This section was better than the entirety of the last voyage of the Demeter.
That is what I have. There was more tension and suspense in this, 7 minutes of if that. There was more to this than the entire movie of Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Absolutely.
And I cared more for the people on this boat than I did for the Last Voyage of the Demeter.
I was more concerned for them.
Yeah.
And this part in the movie introduces. So in Last Voyage, for reasons we don't totally understand, Dracula is traveling, not with just his coffin in the box, but a bunch of grave dirt. And I think I can't remember at this point, it's been too long. I think the movie tries some real ham-fisted explanation and it sucks.
Yeah, I don't recall.
What is Orlok traveling with? An army of rats that he controls, but more specifically, plague rats that he controls. And plague starts going throughout the ship.
Yes,
and guys are getting sick and being locked in quarantine. Then they're like, some of the sailors build up enough courage, they're going to end this curse. They're taking that cargo and I'm going to chuck this goddamn curse right in the middle of that goddamn pond.
Yeah, when that one sailor is going down into the gully of the ship. And he's walking along and it's just lit with that torch. Beautiful.
And again, but here's the thing, the torch is actually giving off fucking light. And you can see, and this movie, for me, has a lot of hits and misses with its lighting.
Okay.
But this torch works because you can see him.
Yeah.
And more importantly, you see him walk past something in the shadows.
Yes. So good.
And he uncovers the coffin. And then he is taken out.
Yes, he is.
And it's fantastic. Then the boat, the ghost ship, with no survivors, crashes along shore with no survivors.
There's that one guy who got out
With that bitch.
Yeah, with that bitch and they're floating on that door.
No, wait. Damn you, James Cameron.
Wrong movie.
Actually, it was kind of the right movie, if I recall. Because you know what? She was on the door. Was he in the water?
Yeah.
Or was he also on the door?
No, he was in the water, I think. I don't remember. But I love the ship crashes along the shore, and then that just all the rats.
And then the police, get there to investigate, and then the horde of rats make their way to the city, and you just go, oh, God.
It's great. It's great.
And it adds another wrinkle to the worry, the fear, the anxiety that Orlok coming to Hamburg is causing. Not only to the characters in the movie, but to me, the audience member.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's just another layer of shit they all have to deal with.
This plague rat little subplot that they kind of that goes on from this point, chef's kiss. It's beautiful.
I agree.
Because so Orlok and there's a whole side story as Orlok takes his rage out on Friedrich and his family, and they're doing all the but sticking to the meat of the matter, right? Orlok coming to Hamburg. You feel that his presence in the city is going to destroy the city and every single person in it.
Oh, yeah. And that shot with the city and his shadow of his hand going over the city. So cool. So cool.
But then you're also getting more and more of the effects of the plague as you're seeing the carts of the dead. And even so, eventually, Dr. Van Helsing, excuse me.
Oh my God. Don't say those words.
Dr. von Franz.
That's better.
Who is an occult expert, is brought in, and they team up with Thomas and the doctor who's been trying to help Ellen, and now they're on the hunt. They know they are looking for a Nosferatu.
I love Willem Dafoe.
You could tell he's having the best time.
He is.
However, we talked about Bill Skarsgård's voice is fantastic as Orlok. I had an issue with Dafoe's voice as von Franz.
Why?
Because he's doing the exact voice, accent, and even pitch, his literal voice. He's doing the exact voice Mel Brooks does as Van Helsing in Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Oh, really?
It is exact. It is spot on. And all I could think was Mel Brooks in Dracula Dead and Loving It, which is also a better Dracula movie than The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be real hard.
Man, he must always have the last word, you verstucker. And then for no reason, Leslie Nielsen, Dracula, walks by an open window. Luca! God damn him! That man! Of that movie. It's not a good movie by any stretch, and by Mel Brooks standards, it's awful, but I love that movie.
No, I laughed when they first meet up with Van Helsing. I mean, von Franz.
Von Franz.
Excuse me.
You're going to get everyone sued again.
But they're talking about this plague that's coming over the city and Dracula
you're going
Nosferatu.
To get us sued again. You're going to get everyone sued again.
But he's just kind of a crazy old guy.
Yeah.
And then he's being told this bullshit about what's happening. And he's like, oh, well, okay, we'll go fix this, whatever. Anybody want schnapps? And he pulls up that bottle. Schnapps.
Schnapps.
Yeah, so good. Willem Dafoe's so good.
He really is. I mean, his Mel Brooks voice aside, you could just tell he's having the best time in this movie. So his shadow envelops the city, and they're trying to fight him. Friedrich and his whole family die. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah, when Anna
Anna
opens the
opens the-
door to the kid's bedroom because they're screaming.
They're screaming about a monster in the room, and she runs in, and it's just Orlok finishing him off.
Yeah, he drops one, and he's got his mouth on the other one. Just ugh, and she screams.
And then he gives Anna plague, and she dies of the plague, and then she ends up giving Friedrich plague, and he dies in the family tomb, having thrown open his wife's coffin and clutching her body, and then dies with her in his arms.
I think there may have been a little
kissing,
that and little necrophilia thing going on.
No.
I think there was.
No, he did not mount his wife.
I don't know, because he was on top of her. Her legs were kind of, I don't know.
She was dead. She didn't open her legs to receive him.
He opened them.
That didn't happen.
It foreshadows what happens at the end.
But
I don't know.
But I don't think that's what happened. But he dies
in his wife's arms.
In his wife's arm. No, his pants were on. Her pants were on. No one
she had a sundress.
No one took anything out.
I don't know.
And inserted it in anyone else.
It looked a little suspicious. Just saying.
No, it didn't.
But no, you're right.
I definitely think he was laying with her.
Oh, yeah.
But not
in the biblical sense.
No.
Yes. You just said, I believe he was laying.
No, I didn't say laying with her. I do think he had laid with her.
Uh-huh.
Because he couldn't let go because his fucking family had died.
Yes.
But he wasn't laying with her in an Austin Powers sense, in the biblical sense. Stop it. That did not happen. Okay. I felt more for Friedrich. I felt more for his family. I felt more for him. My heart broke for him. I was like, because at first, before Thomas recovers and gets back, I was like, is Friedrich going to be the one helping von Franz and the other doctor whose name I can't remember? But like when he was broken, as he buries his daughters and his wife, my heart broke for him.
I'm right there with you, man.
And then he dies.
Yeah.
And I just went, oh my God.
Okay, we've kind of talked about this character, but I just want to talk about one specific scene with this character.
Yes, we saw Canuck's testicles.
Hey, it is about Canuck.
Yeah.
It's not about his nuts. It's about his love of pigeons.
Well,
this guy, whoever he is, whoever the actor was, his performance in this part, Simon McBurney is his name.
Sure.
Holy shit, this is so good.
Which he looked kind of familiar too, but I don't know if maybe he just had a familiar face because I don't recognize the name.
I looked up any movie that he might have been in that I recognized. I didn't recognize any movie.
Okay.
And
if you don't recognize, I'm damn sure not going to recognize. And I don't mean that in a facetious way. I mean that genuinely.
I mean, he was in The Conjuring 2, so that might be where I
have seen The Conjuring 2.
But I can't place him in that.
Yeah.
But this guy was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the whole movie, but this specific scene. And I love when he's kind of playing with that pigeon and just kind of petting it. And then all of a sudden he just takes it and bites its head off and is reveling in the blood and the meat and everything. And then the doctor's like, oh, kind sir, why did you have to go and do that?
He was hungry.
He was hungry. That was just a really cool scene I wanted to talk about. So we can get back to the...
Von Franz, through his research, uncovers a truth that not everyone in his party is willing to accept. There is one documented way to kill the Nosferatu, but it involves the affection of a young woman. It says the only way to stop it is for the creature to obtain his heart's desire, for lack of a better term. She has to let him come, no pun intended, and keep him busy enough for the son to kill him, while also simultaneously for him to not be able to return to his coffin. And we know that Ellen is the apple of Orlok's eye. Thomas is not real cool with this.
Oh yeah, no. Von Franz says, the maiden fair did offer up her love unto the beast, and with him lay in close embrace until the first cock crow. Her willing sacrifice thus broke the curse and freed them from the plague of Nosferatu.
Her willing sacrifice.
Yes.
Thomas is not cool with that.
Gotta offer up her love.
And her life.
Yeah.
And Von Franz, he's crafty.
Yes, he is.
And he concocts a plan that Thomas is all for. They're going to storm the castle and they're going to kill the beast, while also concocting a plan with Ellen on how to actually kill the beast. And he does not let Thomas know that plan because he knows he has to keep Thomas away to allow Ellen the opportunity to do what she has to do to kill it.
Yeah, he's trying. Defoe's character, Von Franz, is trying to do.
Excuse me. I sneezed.
Bless you.
Thank you.
He's trying to do everything he can to keep Thomas from going to that tomb right away.
Mm-hmm. We got to find Friedrich.
Yes.
Where's Friedrich? He's late.
Yes.
And I think I left the oven on. Let's go back to my house real quick.
No shit.
Mom? You guys hear my mom calling?
Oh, she said we need milk, so we got to go run to the store, bring milk, then we'll come back here, and then we'll go storm the castle.
But we have to take the long way because the plague rats have overrun Main Street, so we have to take the side roads, and most of them are one way, and it just takes forever.
But I hear the Piggly Wiggly is rat free, so we're good.
We just got to get to the Piggly.
Yes.
They go and they make it to Orlok's coffin, throw it open, and without hesitation, Thomas rips that lid off and spikes its occupant. And it's definitely not Orlok, as it's naked Canuck.
Yeah, he gone.
And Thomas is like, Canuck? Excuse me, your balls are showing. Again.
Bumblebee tuna?
Bumblebee tuna. I like how then, did you catch this? Canuck begins saying too much and is revealing where Orlok went.
Is that when he's talking about I was going to be the Rat King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he starts talking about how Orlok's not here and he went to get his true companion that should have been me. And Von Franz realizes this motherfucker's saying too much. Is like, die, hell beast! and with a hammer drives the spike in deeper to like try to kill Canuck before he says too much. I caught that. I thought that was hilarious. Just like, oh, bastard.
Yeah, and then he's still not done. Von Franz. He's like, okay, no, now we have to burn all of this. And then
which is true though. They did have to do that.
But he's standing there by himself in this tomb because they all decide to fuck off. And
they're trying to get to Ellen.
Yeah, he's lighting everything, and he's like, "No, come back, help me light all of these coffins."
And he burns that sarcophagus room. He burns that tomb down.
Yes, he does. And this is another scene that I really enjoyed looking at, just from a cinematic standpoint. Is the whole scene is lit with that torch that Willem Dafoe's holding. And then he lights, he does his gas thing, and then he lights everything, and then it just illuminates the entire room.
Yeah.
Such a good looking shot.
It did look good. You know what I really liked about the second half of this movie? Like, Orlok on the ship. Like, Thomas goes out the window, and in the river, Orlok gets on the ship, and we're in like the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
The plot is cooking at such a speed. There's too much going on for Eggers to get overly cute with his filmmaking. And it made it watchable.
That's fair.
Like he couldn't do all of his cute little sideways bullshit.
Even though I didn't have a problem with it.
Because you're a pretentious douche.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so our trio make it to Ellen, but it is too late. She has accepted Orlok and
drained the shit out of him.
Wait, she drained the shit out of him while he drained the shit out of her.
Oh, yeah.
There was insertion, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he was drinking the blood to help fuel his desires?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because presumably he doesn't really have any of his own, right?
Correct.
Or at least, well, whether he himself has blood or not is irrelevant. He doesn't have a pumping heart. And if you don't have a pumping heart, your blood can't flow. And if it can't flow, you can't
grow.
You can't grow if you have no flow.
Absolutely.
So he's drinking her blood to fuel the machine.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think he can get it up whenever he wants.
No, I don't think he can.
This motherfucker can mind control people. He can figure that out.
He could get Thomas's up. I think biologically he's incapable of getting his own up without performance enhancers. In this case, Ellen's blood.
A little bit of Viagra.
He needs some assistance.
Yeah.
Which is why he was drinking Ellen's blood while replacing it with semen.
There you go.
We got there.
Yeah.
But she is a horny woman.
Absolutely.
And she's able to keep it going all night until the first cock crows and the sun comes up, and with nowhere to go, no coffin to go back to, Orlok eats the morning sun's full rays, and he dies on top of her, as then she also dies, I think from the sheer amount of blood drained from her.
Yes.
But because she could have turned into something, but I think with her master dead, the master vampire is dead.
Yes.
So she's dead.
Yeah, that doesn't get explained at all, really.
Doesn't need to be.
Doesn't need to be, but I think it's just the massive amount of blood that he drank out of her.
Yeah.
But I loved how the sun took out Orlok. I was kind of expecting them to do this typical vampire thing where he turns to ash.
Yeah, it burns him to
burns
ash.
him, or just makes him disappear or catch on fire, and he's screeching and hollering. But no, it was just like it almost just sucked the life out of him, and he just kind of shrivels up and bleeds out of his eyes, and that was
Ellen's blood, right?
It was different and cool, and I appreciated the hell out of it.
And his emaciated corpse collapses on top of her.
This is going to sound morbid.
Okay.
But that last shot we get, because who was it that put the lilacs all around her? Von Franz, I think.
Yeah, it was Von Franz.
But you get that last shot of her laying there with him on top of her, the dead corpse on top of her, blood everywhere, the lilacs around them. That was kind of a beautiful fucking shot.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of the reviews I read were like, man. And then Eggers, masterful, everything is masterful. He masterfully gives us one last shot as we see Orlok and Ellen laying together. And all I could do was think of like, yep, that's how we look, frail and gross when we're in the deed. And it's just weird. And I'm going, you look like that?
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry you don't know what a sandwich is and that you're bad at the sex. Because I promise you, I don't look like that.
You could have sandwich while you're having sex.
No, see, that's too far.
No, you just hold this, honey. Put it on her forehead.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's like that there's that porn with Ron Jeremy where he's eating cake off that chick's back.
I don't know.
I'm like, well, that's why you got fat.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, roll credits.
Roll credits.
All right. Ratings. IMDb 7.3.
Ooh, that's kind of low.
Rotten Tomatoes 84% for a grand total of 157. Middle of the road
Okay.
for in the grand scheme of
Yeah.
how these movies usually rate. Any thoughts on that or saving it?
Saving it.
New York Times. I could not get a New York Times review for Something's Gotta Give from 04 because it's behind a paywall. Brand new award sweeping Nosferatu, no fucking problem. Yeah, let that sit in.
I typed in New York Times Nosferatu. Oh, you want the 1922 one? Sorry, that's a paywall. I don't want that one. I want the 24.
Here you go.
Oh, here you go for free.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We added more content for you. New York Times, this Nosferatu dares you to feel seduced and then sick over the seduction.
Okay, I like that.
Ebert.com.
Yeah.
It reminded me of being a child and seeing the original Exorcist, seeing the original The Exorcist, and feeling as if I was seeing a documentary record of evil. 4 stars.
Too high.
I'm glad you said that. 4 stars is too high.
4 is way too high.
7.3, too low.
Too low.
84.
Right.
I can live at 84.
84.
So, Tevis, it begs the final question. What are your final thoughts on 2024 Nosferatu?
I like vampires.
Like you would be mounted in.
No, like the Lost Boys let me in. I enjoyed Interview with the Vampire when it first came out. The Blade series, 30 Days of Night. That's another good one.
Yeah. Forgot about that one.
Fright Night.
I don't think I've seen Fright Night. I didn't know vampires were in Fright Night.
Yeah, there's 2. There's the original, and then they did a remake of it with Colin Farrell. But then,
oh, I know exactly what you're talking.
Yeah,
you can't come in here. You don't have my permission. I don't need your permission. Your fucking house exploded.
From Dusk Till Dawn. You know, I was going through the list of vampire movies I enjoyed. None of them have Dracula.
True.
I think Dracula is. I think Dracula sucks. And every time they try to do something new with Dracula, it just comes off as hokey, and I think Dracula's been too commercialized. You know, you got the Count Chocula on that, and the Sesame Street thing. So when I went into this thinking it was Nosferatu, I was like, oh, I'm going to learn about a new vampire that I know nothing about. And then I'm watching it. I'm like, wait a minute. He's on a boat. Is that the fucking Demeter?
It was.
I'm like, holy shit. And now we have Van Helsing.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking Dracula.
Yeah.
But this was done extremely well. I never once rolled my eyes at anything that Orlok said.
Nope.
Or his appearance.
Nope. Or
how other people interacted with him.
Now, to be fair, there wasn't a lot of depth in everyone's interaction with him because it was mostly pants-shitting terror.
Yes. Yes.
It's really easy to hit those notes when that's the only one.
But if you go back and you watch Bram Stoker's Dracula with Keanu Reeves as the Thomas character.
Yeah.
You know, he's them two interacting. It's nothing like this character and or Thomas here and Orlok interacting.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated Bram Stoker's Dracula. I thought it was a terrible movie. This, no, definitely worth the ticket price. This was fantastic. Will I watch it again? Yeah, but it'll be a while because I got to calm my shit down after that first introduction. But oh yeah, I'll definitely throw this on and just watch Bill Skarsgård do Bill Skarsgård shit. I mean, there was a time after I went to the theater to watch it that I would get on YouTube and just watch clips of Pennywise, of him being Pennywise. And I think I'm definitely going to be doing the same thing with this. His performance killed it. Everybody did a good job. What's her name? The one who played Ellen.
Yeah.
She was phenomenal.
I've got Lily Rose Depp.
I've never seen her in anything. I know who she is.
I don't.
Well, it's Johnny Depp's daughter.
Okay.
But
I wondered that.
Yeah, and I only know of a few movies that she's been in, but I've never seen them. And I've never seen her in anything. My God, the way she would do like that shaking and convulsing shit, like when she's getting possessed and going through her mental illness, as they called it. Holy crap, man.
They
she
gave
was so
her
good.
ether and opioids.
And yeah, and a corset that'll tame the womb. Oh my God. I did love the whole.
She has too much blood in her.
Too much blood.
You have to, I mean, I had to. You have to appreciate the 1830s medical expertise that this movie does do. And I'm like, yeah, that's spot on.
I did. I love that. I thought that was a great little touch. But no, this movie is so good. I enjoyed the hell out of it. 4 stars? No, I didn't enjoy it that much. 7.3? No, it's way too low. 83, 84. That's about right.
I can live there.
Yeah. But no, this was a really good movie. I enjoyed it.
So, is 2024 Nosferatu worth the ticket price? Have I mentioned that I've decided that I hate Robert Eggers and his pretentious ass and his indie guerrilla filmmaking garbage? I hate it. Hate it. And if I never see anything else he ever does, I'll be happy. And now I'm definitely never going to watch the Northman because it's going to be shot like this.
Oh, I'm going to watch it.
It's going to piss me off.
Here in about 10 minutes.
But is Nosferatu worth the ticket price? Yeah. Undeniably so. This movie is so good that the director, despite his best efforts, couldn't completely kill the Nosferatu. He tried his damnedest. He staked it in the heart with just the worst camera cuts and the bullshit. It's just awful. Awful. But second half of this movie, when there's too much going on so he can't get too cute with it, it's cooking, and I'm all for it. Everyone in this movie is good. But we're not here for them. We're here for Dracula. I mean, Orlok. We're here for Bill Skarsgård. And he could not have attacked this role any harder. And it pays off. If Orlok had been a different actor, if Orlok had been a lesser performance, it would have tanked this movie.
I agree with that.
And yet, Bill Skarsgård carries it like a champion. And yeah, the only reason to see it is him. The only reason to rewatch it is him. The highlights you're going to look up are of him. Am I wrong?
No, you're not
Call
wrong.
it like I see it. It's him. This movie is him. And it's great. Worth the ticket price.
Okay. I am not a fan of this period in time, like this Victorian era almost.
Sure.
I was not looking forward to this movie just because of that, but I'm glad I got over that issue.
It just lends itself so perfectly to the gothic tale.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You mentioned, Dracula. over commercialized? Does he work? And after Last Voyage of the Demeter, we discussed it in that episode.
Yeah.
Does Dracula as a character work for modern audiences, or is it a concept that's just too old at this point? We've passed it by. This movie shows, done right, Dracula still works. Dracula is still effective. And why do I say that? Because Orlok is fucking Dracula. Like 1-to-1, Orlok is Dracula.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you one movie with Dracula that I've enjoyed other than this movie.
Right, but is that a Dracula issue, or is that an everyone missing the mark issue?
Based off of what we just watched, I think it's everybody missing the mark.
They've missed the mark. Dracula can still, the Wolfman can still work. If
I'm anxious to see that.
do it right. See what?
The remake of the Wolfman.
Oh, I didn't know there was one coming.
Yeah, it came out about the same time as this.
Oh, what's it called?
Wolfman.
Oh, clever.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
No guesses here. Done right, the old Universal monsters can still do it. It just has to be done right.
Yeah, I love the beginning of this movie where they had the old-looking fonts and designs of the studio. Oh, yeah, it was so cool. Nice little intro to this old film that they brought back.
It works.
Yeah, it does.
And this was the Dracula vampire movie I wanted Last Voyage to be.
Same.
And I can at least sit here a year after the fact we watched it. I can at least sit here satisfied that I finally got what I wanted. Was it perfect? No. That's okay. It doesn't have to be. I got the vampire experience I wanted. Tevis, any closing remarks?
No, I've said everything I had to say.
All right, then. Well, thank you all so much for listening. Let us know in the comments if you got bingo. Let us know what you think about Mr. Eggers or Nosferatu or this or our episode. Anything you want to talk about, that's what we got. Make sure you let us know if you got bingo. We got the merch store. We got Patreon. We got plenty of more stuff coming in the works, so stay tuned. Make sure you follow the show. Click the bell for notifications. Share it around to all your friends, whether they've seen this movie and you guys wanted to talk about our thoughts and just keep that conversation fueled, or you've got someone who hasn't seen it yet, or maybe they're avoiding it. Be like, check, other people are talking about it. And not everyone on the show totally loves it. So, the person who may be hesitant to watch it, maybe this will push them there. And as always, in the meantime, until we catch you in the next episode, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and good night. He wasn't laying with his wife. He was laying with his wife.
Just got done.
No, there was no just got.
Just got done laying.